Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Football Home podcast. What a couple of days it has been in the World Cup. I don't think my heart can take any more drama after the last 2 days. It has been absolutely insane. We will get to all that in due course, but first we will start off where we left off on Tuesday night, and that was with the Iran versus USA and England-Wales games. Not too much drama in this. I think it was pretty much as expected. I don't think anyone can really have too much to say there. I didn't really watch I was focused more on the England game, obviously, so I didn't see the USA game. So if anybody has anything to say about that, they can. I thought England were very good. Took their time to kind of get into the game. Kind of struggled first half. It was good to see Phil Foden getting his chance finally. We've been crying out for that. Marcus Rashford was excellent as well. The only thing is Harry Kane has yet to score. For some reason, that's a bit of a. But as long as like Rashford and Sterling and Saka and Foden are scoring, I guess it doesn't really matter. I thought they were a little bit lackluster in the first half, had chances, but just didn't really take them. And then I think once Wales started coming out to try and attack the game, England capitalised then and took their chances with the space. Pretty comfortable, though, in the end. Andreas, thoughts on these couple of games?
Yeah, I think England has showed that they really have the players to score goals, especially against the smaller teams, if you can say it like that. But I'm still really interested to see them against the bigger teams because I'm not confident that they can win those matches yet. I need to see that first. And we already kind of saw it against USA that they didn't do their absolute best in that match. And USA is not even the biggest team in the world. So I still need to see England against the big teams, but there's no doubt that they have been really, really good against Iran and against Wales. And I think a really, really important part for England is that they have not conceded any goals the last two games. So that's definitely what England really needed and really good for them.
And Maguire has been very, very good, to be fair. He's been very solid.
And with Wales, I feel like Wales has just had a really, really bad World Cup, to be honest. And surprisingly, the worst team in this group, which I did not expect. So yeah, they have just been really, really bad. And I think that's part of the story as well with this, that Wales, a team that has done so well the last couple of years, it's just over now. And they don't have the players to really do anything big anymore. And yeah, quickly with the other match, USA is a good team, I think. Not the best team, and I really think there are some struggles there, but as a 1-0 win is enough to move on in this group, so great for them. But I don't think they are going much further than this.
Fair enough. Warren?
Yeah, I watched the England game. I think the person that surprised me the most so far has been Marcus Rashford. He's been really, really great to watch. Not even in the World Cup only, but in the Premier League as well. He's been coming into his own again, and it's nice to see that. Like Harry said, Harry Maguire surprisingly has been strong defensively, which I never thought I would say, but give credit where credit is due. You know, you just have to. But I think overall England is doing really well, and they deserve this spot at the top, even though it hasn't been easy. Quickly with USA, yeah, sad that Wales are gone, but they just never got off the front foot in this World Cup, and it's cost them. And we've seen that with many of the other teams that's out now, that the way that you started kind of dictates how you ending this group stage. So it's kind of sad, but it's also like, you know, you should have tried harder your first game. Quickly, but the other match, I'm all for USA. I'm glad that Christian Pulisic got a goal in. I was happy for him. Captain America scored, and I want USA to go as far as they can. And I don't think they're a weak team at all. I think they've conceded the least goals out of most of the teams that's still there. They haven't really lost a game, so that counts in their favor. And you've seen this World Cup is the World Cup of underdogs and upsets. So I'm not counting them out at all. Even though I know they're facing the Netherlands in the next round, they've got the capacity to take the Netherlands out if they played really well. So I'm not counting any team out, not from after what we've seen this couple of days. So you can be at the bottom one as the game starts, and when you look at it again, you're suddenly in the next round. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens now that most of these teams are going out and it's going down to the nitty-gritty. The smallest mistake can send you home. So bring your A game, I guess.
Fair enough. Yeah, USA have a decent team, to be fair. They have a lot of Premier League players. Pulisic is obviously captain. They have a lot of Premier League players, like a lot of them play with Leeds, and it's a decent team, and I think they will cause problems for the likes of the Netherlands going forward. We'll see. We have to move on to slightly more depressing matters now for Andreas.
No. Already.
Tunisia shocked France, whilst Australia beat Denmark. I think less surprisingly, given the way the tournament has gone so far. Tunisia, I didn't really see a whole lot of it, but I think France were kind of robbed a little bit at the end. An offside call. I swear VAR is just causing all sorts of problems. Like it's there for clear and obvious mistakes. And the thing is, a lot of them aren't clear and obvious. They're just being very petty and being very particular and meticulous when it's not really there for that. But yeah. Sorry. We miss you too, Richard. Come back soon, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought VAR was a bit of a pain in the ass for France, ruling out Griezmann's equaliser. Not that it really made any difference, but yeah. And then Denmark just struggled. I think we knew Australia would be in there. I think we knew Australia would cause Denmark problems. Denmark haven't scored really a whole lot in the tournament. Defensively, they've been solid, but they didn't really score too many goals. I haven't conceded too many, sorry. So, but yeah, Australia looked good and caused Denmark problems. We'll come to you, Andreas, first on this one.
Yeah, firstly with the France game. Surely France didn't have their best team. But their bench is still 10 times stronger than Tunisia's team if you take player from player. Surely how you play on the actual pitch and how you work as a team is something else. But player from player, France bench team is still extremely, extremely strong. So no matter what was involved, no matter if VAR was involved or not, this is a match France should have won with their bench team, and they didn't. And I think that also showed that Tunisia is not a bad team at all, but yeah, France fucked up that, to be honest, because they have the squad. So yeah, that was actually pretty surprising to me that France could at least not get a draw with the great team they had, and this was a chance for France to show that their bench really is strong and maybe get some of them to do better and maybe be a bigger part of the last 16. So yeah, not good for France, but even worse for Denmark that we cannot beat Australia. And honestly, I think Australia played bad. I think they played really bad. There's just this one problem, and that's the fact that we played 10 times worse. And that's how it is. We played terribly. Offensively, it has been terrible. One goal in these 3 games, and it's by a defender. A former Chelsea player, so that's great for me, but really not good enough at all. And the goal that Australia scored was so bad by Schmeichel and by the defenders, and should not have been a goal. So at the end of the day, I think it's embarrassing how we have played. I had a great time watching the game at a bar, but besides that, it was a terrible experience for me. And I'm really, really embarrassed. I really am. Like, I think we played terribly, and I think we have done that all 3 games. Defensively, we have been okay, but this game, it was not good enough. And yeah, hey Bree.
Hello, Bree.
But yeah, just good enough by us, and I think that I think the story with this is that Australia was not good. I really don't think Australia have done a good job in these games. They lost a lot to France. They beat us with 1 goal, and they lost. They beat Tunisia with 1 goal. So Australia is not good. They go out with this with a bad goal difference. So Australia has not showed that they're good. The story that's just is that we are even worse. So yeah, really embarrassing by us. But of course, a huge moment for Australia. And if they can somehow beat Argentina, I think the Australians are going insane. I saw some pictures of them because of the time differences. It was 3 a.m. for them, and they were just going insane over this win. So yeah, huge congrats to them. But as a Danish person, it's really embarrassing. And yeah, embarrassing is just the word for me right now.
Warren?
Yeah, quickly, France obviously didn't play the best team, the solid team, but I think it was just the fact that they had nothing to lose at this point. They were really going through, so what's the point of, risking your star players that now that you've gone through to the final 16? So I get the manager's point of view of putting, when I looked at the squad, I was like, I don't know so much about the squad, but like, if they lose, it doesn't really hurt them. If they win, it's just another feather in their cap. If they draw, it's just another point. So it's not going to make much of a difference. So I get it. I don't think Tunisia was the best team. I still think France were robbed. Like Harry said, that goal should have gone through. But like, it would have ended in a draw. But VAR. I think this World Cup campaign, actually exposes how an ineffective VAR is in general, and I think VAR should actually be dismantled and not allowed in football, because it hurts the game more than it helps these players and these teams that train and work so hard. But yeah, France didn't have anything to lose, so confidence boost for Tunisia, but it doesn't do anything for their World Cup campaign. So this game was really a non-issue where I'm concerned. The other game, and I said it in the last podcast, don't underestimate Australia. And you can say that Australia, they win by 1 goal, but they're getting the job done. At the end of the day, Denmark couldn't get the job done. As great of a team that they are, with the squad that they've got, with the world's best goalkeeper who's up there, Schmeichel, I think is great. They couldn't get the job done. And again, it comes down to what you've done in the beginning of the campaign. And you can say, yes, Australia lost against France heavily, but any team probably will lose against France heavily. But if you look at the other game, that 1 goal that they got against, Tunisia was enough for them. And then the 1 goal that they got against Denmark was enough for them. So it says a lot about Australia. If they play the right game, they can get their noses in front of a game. It's going to be difficult with the next fixture. We'll have to see what happens, but I think Australia, out of the 3 teams that was on the bubble, deserve to go through just on past performances. As great as Denmark was, I just don't think they started the campaign right, and that cost them in the end. And I said Australia could give them a nosebleed, and they did. And it's not about rubbing it in your face or anything like that, because I know you're probably still hurting a little bit inside about being out of the things. It's not nice. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. A lot of our favorite teams are going out. This World Cup has just been the gift that doesn't stop giving, and not for the greatest reasons and not for the greatest of feelings. But at the end of the day, I do believe that Australia, out of the 3 that was left besides France who really qualified, deserve to go through.
Agree. But my point is that we played really bad. Like, my point is that we were really bad. So yeah, it sucks for me, but there's no doubt that we played really, really bad. And I'm not even sure that we would have been able to beat Tunisia with how we have been playing. So there's no doubt that we have not been good enough. So out of the 3 teams in how they have performed, Australia deserved it. But I think it's because something has been terrible wrong for us, and I don't know what that is, but it is really, really embarrassing. Because
it's definitely.
We are at a point where we are starting to become one of the bigger teams. We are not France, we are not Portugal, but we are one of the bigger teams at this point. So it is really, really embarrassing for us. And again, no doubt, Australia, great job for them. And I can assume that the Australian people are really, really excited for this.
Yeah,
it's crazy though that Australia go through with a negative goal difference.
Exactly, and that just shows how crazy this World Cup has been, honestly. And I do believe Denmark is one of the most underrated teams of the entire 32. I think there's 32 teams in the World Cup. Yeah, there's 32. I think out of all of them, I think Denmark is the most underrated team because they don't get that put on a pedestal kind of like synergy vibe that the likes of Argentina, even Uruguay, that's not been doing so great, is getting peak because with the players that's associated with them, they don't have the Suarez and they don't have the Neymar and Mbappe and those people, and that is quite shameful. But at the end of the day, it sucks because now Denmark can't prove to the rest of the world that they deserve to be there. And I think that's going to be a case for the coach and the teams to just go back to the drawing board and look at all these games where the mistakes were, sharpen them, their craft for the next 4 years, I guess, until the next World Cup. Make sure they qualify and then go out with a bang. I just think it's shameful, but stepping stones in life lessons, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a new Denmark side in 4 years. I don't think there'll be a lot of the same players there.
Exactly,
That's
let's move on, I think, guys. And yeah, I think the depth in France's squad is probably not as good as we might have thought, given the fact they got Tunisia. Now, Tuesday evening is where the drama, Wednesday evening, sorry, is when the drama started to height up. It was back and forth. Nobody knew until right to the end who was going to go through between Poland and Mexico. At one point, it was down to fair play and who had the most yellow cards, who was going to go out. Myself and Andreas were kind of watching this on call together, and it was just crazy. It was just back and forth. You just could not keep your eyes off it. It was just absolutely crazy. Argentina probably too strong, I think, for Poland. Messi even missed a penalty, which is surprising for him. But they got the job done in the end. They just had too much. And I think, like Andrea said, the Saudi Arabia defeat has kind of woken them up a little bit and kind of got them going. But they looked good. And Mexico did well as well. I think they went up pretty early against Saudi Arabia. And they haven't looked too impressive, but they've kind of been underdogs, I think, a little bit. Warren, your thoughts on these games?
Yes, I'm going to start with Saudi Arabia and Mexico. We all knew going into this match, this was going to be the decider for most of these teams because all these teams were so close point-wise. Poland started at the top of this match, of this group, and then Argentina, and then the rest of the two were there with 1 point. So it was really a winner takes all and I thought Mexico actually had it in the bag. And then, out of nowhere, Saudi Arabia came in and, just stole it right from under their noses. And it was so close. It was back and forth. I was like, I had to refresh my app every time because I couldn't wait for them to announce it. And I was like, please, dear God. I was looking at the table the whole time. And I'm sad that Mexico's out but it's the same story. It's the same old thing. You didn't start well. You didn't start a campaign well. Your foundation wasn't there. And without a solid foundation to start something on, your whole empire is going to crumble. And I think that's what happened here. I think it was a case of too little, too late for Mexico. So the goal differences didn't help them at all. and conceding late, they couldn't hold on to the lead, and Argentina got the job done. Yes, Messi missed the penalty, but even in the midst of that, they just came back firing on all cylinders. And I actually said in the last podcast, maybe they needed to lose against Saudi Arabia in the opening match to just put the fire under their belly and say, like, now we need to perform. We need to go out there. We need to show them pedal to the metal. We need to know what to do, when to do it, quit the bullshit, and let's just move on. And it sucks for Poland as well. It's the same old story. They didn't start well. Even though they played great in their second match, it just wasn't enough for them, and they couldn't hold on to Argentina, which I found actually surprising because of the age differences in the teams. But Argentina completely, just with the last two performances, thoroughly deserved to go through. So sad about Mexico, and I guess Poland goes through on a technicality, I guess. But
no, they go through on goal difference. They do go
goal difference, yes.
Yeah.
Poland, probably out of the other three teams, a little bit more deserving, I would have said, Saudi Arabia, because they were quite the underdogs and surprise package of the group. But two great teams going through to the round of 16, and let's see what happens next.
Andreas?
Yeah, I think the crazy part with this is that Mexico, Poland, they got a draw. They both lose 2-0 to Argentina. So it all just comes down to Poland winning with 2 goals over Saudi Arabia and Mexico only winning with 1. And that's the name of the game, and that is how it is. But I can understand if Mexico is really frustrated, because I think they have done a good job. And I have said this in some of the other podcasts, that I feel like Mexico was really a team that I really feel like have done a good job. They have not really scored. They have not scored a goal before this game, but I just feel like they really did good against Poland, and I feel like they did decently against Argentina. So I really feel sad for Mexico, and I think it's pretty rare that Mexico don't go far to last 16. They usually go to last 16. So this is pretty rare for them. And on the other hand, with Poland, that's a team that has not been doing that well the last couple of World Cups, and now they are through to their 16. I think Mexico deserved it more than Poland, but that doesn't matter when Poland score more goals. So my opinion doesn't really matter in that case. And Poland is through. I feel like Argentina, it really is for them completely the same as with Spain in 2010. They lost to Switzerland in the first game and was like, shit, we need to do something. And then they won all the other matches since that match. And I feel like that's kind of what Argentina has been doing so far. They're like, this is not working. And then they go out and beat Poland and Mexico 2-0. And that's impressive. Like, Mexico and Poland are two pretty good teams with some really good players. So really good job by Argentina. And I hope for the best for them now, because that's the team I support now. And with Saudi Arabia, they did a great job in the first match, and since then it was just like they don't really have the team to go out and do that much since the first match. I think Argentina doing great is expected now after the first match, and Mexico and Poland was really close, but at the end of the day, Poland had a better goal score.
Yes.
The fact that it nearly came down to fair play, and I think Poland would have gone through actually on less yellow cards had Saudi Arabia not scored, and it had been 2-0 to Mexico, which would have been pretty crazy. A little bit unfair, you could say, but at the same time, what other way is there if they're tied on goals scored, goal difference, head to head? There has to be some kind of way
to break the tie.
Yeah. And then there was more drama not as much drama actually, to be honest. I think yesterday afternoon Croatia 0-0 Belgium, and Canada losing 2-1 to Morocco. Croatia, Belgium, neither really created any chances, neither really looked like they were going to do anything. But it does mean that Belgium's golden generation are out, which is probably a big shock. I think a lot of people banked them to go far in the tournament, but they just haven't looked themselves at all. And it seems like there's been a lot of turmoil inside the camp. We know Roberto Martinez is now gone. And a lot of these players probably won't have another World Cup in them, which is a shame. They just never really got going. I think their best time to win was 4 years ago, or even last year at the Euros. They just haven't done anything this year, unfortunately. They just never took off, which is a shame.
Yeah.
And obviously Morocco shocked everybody this whole tournament. I don't think anybody expected them to go and do what they've done. But yeah, a little bit surprising they didn't go and beat Canada by more, but they got the job done, which is what they needed to get, which is what needed to happen. Warren?
Yeah, I'm happy about Morocco. Like, I've been a fan of Morocco since the first podcast of the World Cup that we've been doing. Abda stole my idea of saying that they were going to be the surprise package. So, screw you, Abda. With all love. But he just said their name because I said people have to look. Didn't I say people have to look out for Morocco? I said it right here on the podcast. Look out for Morocco. Don't underestimate him. And I mean, Ziyech is there. He's one of my favorite Chelsea players. Sucks that he doesn't get a lot of playtime in Chelsea. And he came out of retirement internationally to come and play in this World Cup. And seeing the performances that he's been doing. And I mean, they would have won 2-0 had there not been that own goal that gone in. So don't give Canada too much credit for the one goal next to their name. It was just, one of those things that happened. But happy Morocco is through, and I almost gave a little spoiler about who they're facing. We'll get to that in a minute. But happy for them. Let's get to the other match. It was kind of like a dry, almost like, you know how it is when you eat a piece of cake and it's like dry, or you eat a cookie and it's dry. It's not very appetizing. It's just meh. It sits here in your throat and it just wants some kind of relief. That was it was like when I was even watching the highlights of this game. It wasn't entertaining. Kevin De Bruyne said, "No way, Jose. Belgium is not going to make it far. They're too weak. They're too old." And I think he cursed them in a way because since he said that, they've just been poor. Tielemans out, De Bruyne out, Dendoncker out, Trossard out. We won't see them in the World Cup further. So
is he old? I thought Trossard was quite young.
Excuse me?
I don't know. Let me check. I thought he was young.
I think he is.
No. I'm just saying they're not play. No,
yeah,
I'm not
saying the team is out.
I'm saying that the team players are out. I'm not saying they're old.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And
my bad.
I think Croatia, it's kind of they went out. They went through on a little on the knife edge, because they got lucky. I feel like they lacked a lot of say in their placement right now, but because it just sucks that the other two teams couldn't step it up, and they had the better goal difference and the better performance. So, but for me, Croatia needs to sharpen their tools, sharpen their armor. They need to come in with more gusto in these games. Otherwise, they're not going to make it past the final 16. And judging from who they are facing, do not underestimate. That's all I've got to say.
Andreas?
Yeah, I think the main story of this group is that a lot can happen in 4 years, and that is the case here. We are talking about second place in the last World Cup and third or fourth place. Don't remember what place they got, but they made it to the semifinals. Belgium, and now we have Belgium and Croatia that is not looking the same as they did last time. Of course, because of age, like that's how it works. But it's still crazy to see a Morocco team that just comes from nowhere and just do really well. Like I know Warren is really spot on with this, and you deserve credit for that because you were spot on with Morocco. But like it's just crazy that we have a group with two so big teams, so big in the last World Cup, and now Morocco just comes in and do great. And Canada was not even that bad compared to Belgium and Croatia either. So it's a pretty crazy group. And yeah, Morocco deserve it. I think they have done a really, really good job so far. I think it's going to be tough now, but it is going to be tough in all the matches. And like so there's nothing specific there. But yeah, they are going to be really interesting to follow. But I also think that a part of the story is Croatia and Belgium not looking strong. I think they're both really aging. And again, not looking the same as 4 years ago. And Kevin De Bruyne, like, as much as I love him as a player, I think he is starting to say some really, really stupid things. This, of course, which is something you clearly should not say. I remember a few months ago, he also said that he didn't want to play Nations League or something because he said something about it was too much, and I get what he was saying, but the way he just said it, it sounded like he was not proud of playing for Belgium, and like there's thousands of players that will gladly take his place in that squad. So I think I get what he's trying to say, and he is right in what he is saying, but the way he is saying it, it just sounds like a crybaby crying over having the life that he has, and you clearly should not do that when you are such a great player and being so lucky to be in the position he is in. So yeah, not a fan of that, but I still love the player, of course. But yeah, I have a question for you guys, and this is very hypothetical. But do you think Morocco with that team right now, do you think they will have survived in this group against Croatia and Belgium 4 years ago? You get the question? So Morocco now against Croatia and Belgium 4 years ago.
I don't think that. I don't think they make it past the group stage.
Yeah, and I think that's a part of the story. But of course, don't take anything away from Morocco. They deserve it, no doubt about that. But I think it is a part of the story. Yeah.
And then the drama continued last night.
Can I say something really quickly, Harry?
Yeah, sorry, go on, Andreas.
Yeah, okay, so just quickly with Belgium, I just want to say that this is probably the most heartbreaking thing in all of the World Cup, because it's done. Like, I don't see them in 4 years, or even at the next Euros, I don't see them having a chance. This was the golden generation, and I will be really, really shocked if they still have a chance going forward.
Fair enough. The drama, Belgium will have to rebuild. It will have to be a new team going forward.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going to get the players from, but we'll see how that rebuild goes over the next 4 years. The drama did continue last night, and again they were back and forth.
Oh my God!
It was Japan at one point, and then it was almost Costa Rica, and then it was Germany, and then it was Japan again.
Spain almost went out as well, weren't they? Spain also almost went out of the World Cup. There was a point where Spain was on the bubble as well, and it was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Go on. Okay, I'm just going to talk then. If you are busy, Harry.
What's happening?
Yeah. Sorry, no, I'm here. It was crazy because it was just my heart was just all over the place. I don't think my heart can take any more drama. But yeah, Japan looked decent. They hit Spain on the counter-attack. Spain probably should have won. but just defending was poor. Morata started, which we've been calling out for. I think they just lack a bit of pace, maybe. I think they're good at passing it around, but maybe might struggle to run fast and just hit them on the counter. I didn't see much of the Costa Rica-Germany game, but it was just all over the place. Andreas, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I remember we talked about it last time with Spain, that I feel like they are kind of arrogant and they are very young, and I don't think they quite have that mentality. And I think that's kind of what's going on here. I think they expected to win this match. They expected to dominate. But Japan is a really, really strong team, and I think when it comes to endurance, I think Japan is probably the strongest team here. They don't give up, and they have a lot of endurance, the players. And I think when it comes to that, when it comes to a team like Japan that has that mentality, Spain don't know what to do because the players are young. They expect too much. They kind of see themselves as this great team, and they clearly are, but I feel like they're kind of too arrogant in a way. And it's the same we saw against Germany, where they don't really get the creative stuff to do anything about it. So yeah, Japan is really a surprise, and I'm really excited to see them going forward because I think they've been really, really good. And it's crazy because
Spain and Germany, which is crazy.
Yeah,
exactly. They were the underdogs. I don't think anybody expected them to get past the group. I think everyone expected Spain and Germany to walk the group easily.
And that's the crazy thing, because I was very confident they will move on when they beat Germany, because I was like, okay, Costa Rica, that's going to be easy. Then they lost to Costa Rica, and I was like, okay, they're done. Germany goes on, and now they survived no matter what. So yeah. Japan has been really, really good. And surprisingly to me, like, I don't think I know any of the players on Japan's team by name. So to me, that's really a surprising one, because like South Korea, they have Son, they have like guys like that. Japan don't really have that. They have a few, of course, but not really those big names. So that's really, really cool with Japan. And a cool stat is that Japan, every time they play the World Cup, when they move on to last 16, the next time they don't move on to last 16. So that's something that has always happened. They move on, next time they don't move on from group stage. But now they have moved on to last 16, 2 World Cups in a row. So yeah, that's new for them, and just shows that they are really a strong team at the moment. But yeah, I think as great as Spain is as a team, I think there is a lack of mentality, and I think it has to do with being a very young squad. But yeah, they move on, and that's great for them. And with Germany, that's just also a crazy thing. But yeah, I've said it before. I don't think Germany is looking that good at the moment. I think they are the weakest of the big teams. And yeah, they have showed that even with these 4 goals, they still don't move on. And yeah, also like just Costa Rica is also a team that has really surprised me in a good way with this World Cup, and really, really coming back from that 7-0 loss.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a really, really interesting group. Yeah.
Yeah, quickly, I'm gonna try to be really, really quick on this topic. Let's talk about Costa Rica, Germany. I think a lot of people, I said it last night. I said that Germany played probably the best game last night out of all the 3 matches, and it wasn't enough, because it is ironic that they lose and they go out and Japan moves on, and Japan beat them in the first game, and that's the game they should have won, and they probably would have been through. So great performance, but too little too late for me. And Costa Rica, I mean, it was so close with these teams. Like we said, at one point it was Spain almost out, and then they went, and I think a lot of, it went hand in hand, who scored where, and it would have affected your position. So I just think that Germany should have gotten their job done the first 2 matches, and they didn't. And it's again Hansi.
Hansi
he started the wrong. Why do you want to bring on somebody as a super sub? Get the game done. Bury the game.
Yeah.
The first half. Get it done. And I don't understand that mentality that he leaves. I mean, I know he depended on Havertz and so forth, but I mean, I just don't get it.
Yeah, Havertz was on the bench. Sane was on the bench. Fulkrug was on the bench.
I don't understand it. When you know you need to win, and even them winning wasn't enough because it was too little, too late. I think again, I'll say it again. They had to win Japan the first match. They had to, and they're paying the price for it right now. Then Japan versus Spain. Spain dominated the game. 70% of the game they dominated. We didn't expect anything less. But I think at times Spain does switch off. They do switch off at times, and then they allow and they concede, and that's a bad trait for them. However, as great as Japan was, we need to talk about that ball that went over that line.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Because how? I mean, okay, I get when they say the full. What did they say? The full thing of the ball had to be over the line or something like that. And you can clearly see in every shot, every slow-mo, every video, every picture, the ball is over the line. How does it still go in? How does that goal still stand? And that to me shows how inconsistent VAR is and how unreliable it is. And I'm saying again, VAR should be disallowed it must just be taken away from the sport because it's ruining it. Because that goal going in robbed Germany from going through. If you look at it, in the grand scheme of things, had they disallowed that goal, Germany goes through.
Yeah,
and that one decision changes the whole game. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, I just don't understand how these officials and these people that's at the head of these FIFA, whatever they are, how they can't see. But I guess it's a power thing, and you want your hand in the cookie jar, you want to decide who goes through or whatnot. That's my opinion on the thing. And happy for Japan, happy for Spain, but still I don't think the end result should have been 2-1. It should have been 1-1. Germany should have gone through based on that technicality. But oh well, what can we do about it?
And that would have completely changed the whole shape of the game. Germany have a big rebuild ahead of them, though, over the next 4 years. Yeah, the team is very old at this point, and they do rely on the likes of Thomas Muller and players like that. Whereas I think the young, exciting players are the ones that should be starting. The likes of Sane, who's scoring week in, week out for Bayern. The likes of Fulkrug,
yes.
himself, you know. The team sheets are in from Brazil, Switzerland, Brazil, Cameroon, and Switzerland, Serbia. Brazil have gone with a completely changed side. They've gone with Ederson in goal, Dani Alves, Militao, Bremer, and Alex Telles at the back four. Then it's Fabinho and Fred. I'm not sure how the front four are going to line out, but it's Anthony, Rodrigo, Gabriel Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus. That is Brazil's second string squad, and yet it could easily be their first team side. That kind of says a lot about the options that Brazil have at their disposal. Cameroon have gone for Epassi, Fai, Wu, Ebose, Tolo, Zambo Anguissa, Kunde, Mumi Ngamelu, Brian Mbumo, Abubakar, and Eric Choupo-Moting.
Good job, Eddie.
It's a very hard name to pronounce that. Serbia have Milinkovic, Savic, Milenkovic, Velchkovic, Pavlovic, Zivkovic, Lukic, Milinkovic.
Oh my God!
Kostic, Tadic, Vlahovic, and Alexander Mitrovic. All those names have got itches at them.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know.
That is just Serbian Russian thing. Switzerland have Kobel, Vidma, Manuel Akanji, Fabian Schär, Rodriguez, Freuler, Granit Xhaka, so Sheridan Shaqiri, Eduardo Vargas, and Mbolo. So exciting things there. We will move on to this morning's fixtures. This afternoon's fixtures, even more drama with it going all over the place. Again, at one stage it was Portugal 1-0 and Uruguay went ahead. I think Ghana were the second place team when Portugal went ahead, and then Uruguay went ahead, and they were going to go through, and then South Korea came back to draw, and then they won, and then South Korea were going through in second place, and it was crazy. I think at the end Ghana needed 2 goals, Uruguay needed 1, and South Korea needed none in that game. I was surprised Uruguay beat Ghana because they've had a really bad tournament so far. They've really been poor. They hadn't scored a goal before this game. That says a lot about Ghana, I think. Uruguay seemed to be fairly good, and they dominated the game for large periods. There was a Ghana penalty, actually, that was saved. I know Warren has his thoughts on that. Showboating. I don't like when penalties are like that. You just fucking run in, take the penalty, just take the penalty. You don't need to stop halfway. But yeah, Portugal's second string side lost to South Korea. I didn't really see much of that, but Diogo Dalot finally started. I don't know why he hasn't been starting already, because he's been doing so well for United. He should have been right back. Cancelo left back like he was today. But yeah, the bottom line is, though, Uruguay are out. But that's their own fault, really, because they didn't score any goals in the first 2 games. So it was always going to be a tough ask for them to go through. It's a shame, because there's a lot of players that we probably won't see in another World Cup. Likes of Edison Cavani, Luis Suarez, Diego Godin, players like that who have all played for so many years. And this was their chance. This was the golden generation of Uruguay. This was their chance. This was their time. Just haven't managed to do anything, unfortunately. Andreas?
Yeah. Where even to start? There's so much with this. No, I think you said that it was surprising with Uruguay, and that they beat Ghana. I kind of expected them to do that, and I think Uruguay strongly expected Portugal to at least get a draw, and if that had happened, then Uruguay would have moved on. It's only because South Korea wins that Uruguay don't move on. So yeah, I think Uruguay still have the mentality. They are still strong enough to go out and win 2-0 against Ghana, which is also a strong team. But it's just not enough, and this is a really good example of what Warren keeps saying, where you need to start strong, and that's the case here with Uruguay. Like they won against South Korea, everything would have looked differently. Could they have gone a draw with Portugal? Everything have looked differently. So yeah, Uruguay, it's their own fault, because they only really started playing in this match, and that's clearly too late if you want to move on. But also just crazy. Like, I don't remember last time Uruguay didn't move on to last 16. So really, really crazy. And I can assume it's even more frustrating because they were so close. If they didn't win this, you could say, okay, they didn't deserve it at all, but at least they got this win and were so close. So yeah, frustrating for them. And South Korea, on the other hand, is just a really, really strong team. And the fact that they can go out and beat Portugal, that's... I kind of expected it. I expected at least a draw. But no matter if you expect a draw or expect South Korea to beat Portugal, it's still crazy that it actually happened. So yeah, just really, really good about South Korea, and really a team that has really surprised me. So yeah, really good for them. Portugal is still a strong team, but I'm not quite on the train of them going all the way yet. But we will see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people expected Portugal to win, but it wasn't the first team that played this game. So I get maybe South Korea. Like again, Portugal was through already. So it was again one of those cases where we didn't have to win. If we do win, we affect the other games, something like that. So it was kind of like, we don't have to win, but South Korea wanted it obviously more, and they got the job done. So bravo to them, kudos to them. They're going through, and obviously their win was the nail in the coffin for Uruguay. So I really don't have a lot to say about that match. In general, it doesn't really do anything besides it advances South Korea, and they got the job done. So at the end of the day, it's a win for them. Ghana, Uruguay. So Ghana has scored 3 goals in their first 2 matches. And this game, they didn't score any goals. Uruguay haven't scored any goals. They had 1 shot on target before this game. And this game, they come in guns blazing and they get 2 goals. At the end of the day, it wasn't enough. The penalty, first of all, the way it was awarded bothered me. And then the second thing was the showboating, which I kind of, that's why I was happy that it didn't go through. And I was happy because I needed Uruguay to win for the predictions game. And had that penalty gone through, it changes the whole game. So, but that didn't happen. Light switch went on for Uruguay, and they went and scored 2 goals. So I'm happy at the end of the day that Uruguay won. Sad that they're not moving on. However, it's about how you start. First, win your first 2 matches, or win and draw, or something, so that you've got a foundation, so you don't have to worry about the last game. You're stress-free, you can relax, you can rotate your team, and get ready for the final 16, or the round of 16, as they call it. So now, I mean, it's terrible because you've got great players like Valverde, and you've got Nunes, and you've got Cavani, and you've got Suarez, and all those great players. Vinicius is now injured as well, so that's going to affect his Premier League performances for Tottenham. So it's going to be interesting. And it's all about reshaping and rethinking how you're going to get through the next time around. But like I said, it's at the beginning, or since the beginning of this podcast that we're doing for the World Cup. Start strong. There's teams that secured their places, Portugal, France. They didn't have anything to worry about. They could rotate. They could put their best players on the bench this time around. They didn't have to worry about this game. And coming into the last game, as you know, as a must-win, it's an enormous amount of pressure. And it wasn't enough. And congrats to both Portugal and then South Korea for advancing to the next round.
Yeah. A lot of Uruguay players we're not going to see again, which is a shame. That a lot of them just haven't had, they're a decent side and probably deserve to do better. But
can I say something?
Yeah.
Also, with Ghana Uruguay, imagine being a Ghana fan right now. Firstly, in 2010, they faced Uruguay, where Ghana should have scored a goal, but Suarez, he got his hands up, so Ghana got a penalty which they missed. So Suarez was the reason why Ghana got knocked out in 2010, and now they face them again along with Suarez, where Ghana, if they won, they would have moved on, and now Uruguay beat them, so they're out. So I can imagine Ghana is not the biggest fan of Uruguay at the moment, understandably so. So yeah, a lot of story there, pretty fun.
Yeah. We'll look ahead to the rest of the games. We'll look ahead to the game tonight, the final round of group game matches: Brazil versus Cameroon, Serbia versus Switzerland. We obviously went through the Brazil lineup, and I think it should be an easy win for Brazil, and it's a good chance for their fringe players as such to get a chance and show what they can do and put their hand up for the last 16. And then Serbia, Switzerland is probably going to be the game to decide the group.
Yeah.
To imagine. Abu, do you want to give us your thoughts on these games coming up tonight?
You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. But both these games, right?
Yeah.
Brazil versus Cameroon. I mean, Brazil versus Cameroon, no? Cameroon might have a slight chance because Brazil is playing with their second team. Brazil's second team is very weak, as you can see.
It's not
sarcasm, Warren. It's
No,
sarcasm. Come on, look at their second team. It's as good as their first team. So, no chance Cameroon are going to win. But between Serbia and Switzerland, it's going to be a tough fight. Now, with Serbia not having Mitrovic, who's been in great form recently, I think Switzerland might have this. And at the end of the day,
Mitrovic is actually playing. He's playing.
Yeah.
He's playing, and he actually scored in the last match. So you need to. You need to You need to keep up.
Sadly, I'm not that updated, as you guys can see, but I honestly think Switzerland, between Serbia and Switzerland, are going to have it. And Brazil, I mean, is that even a question? Come on, Cameroon are going to completely annihilate the second team Brazil have. Brazil are going to get their ass handed to them.
Like, with the players they have, Jesus, Martinelli, Rodrigo, Anthony, you really think
the squad depth is insane? No, I'm being sarcastic, Harry. But
he's joking.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic, but Brazil have an insane squad depth. And if they bottle it tonight, it's not going to matter, is it? Because they're already qualified for the final. So
they have looked a little bit lackluster so far, Brazil. They haven't really shown. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do tonight. And I hope, for Brazil's sake, they can.
I think the biggest surprise for Brazil has been... Sorry?
Everyone wants to see Brazil doing well, so hopefully they do.
Not me, I'm a Ronaldo fan. I want to see Portugal do better first. And if not, then Brazil. So...
even though Brazil is stacked with Real players.
You know, Ronaldo's last World Cup too, so it sort of has precedence over these players, because these players might have 2 or 3, maybe more World Cups left in them. Ronaldo doesn't. So, honestly, I think Brazil are playing really, really well, and the biggest surprise this tournament for me from Brazil has been Casemiro. The man has been tackling, the man has been creating, the man has been scoring goals. Talk about it, and he's already there. He's everywhere on the pitch. And I honestly blame Luka Modric and Toni Kroos for this, because they made Casemiro look like an awful passer of the ball, which is not true. So, yeah, he's been the biggest surprise for me, and I can see Brazil are going to win this, and so are going to Switzerland. So, my prediction: Brazil and Switzerland go through.
Yeah, I think the Serbia-Switzerland game will come. I think the Serbia-Switzerland game will be the decider for second place.
Yeah,
I have to imagine.
Why do you think Serbia are going to make it?
What?
Can I speak now? Do I think that Serbia's going to make it? I definitely think they've got a chance to make it. They scored 3 goals in their last match, so I don't. I think they started off color, but they redeemed themselves in the last match. Even though it was a draw, I think, like Harry said, that's going to be the decider, because Cameroon they don't have a snowball's chance. A snowball's chance in that fiery pit of making it through, because their lives in the game depend on what's happening with Brazil, and I don't think they can beat Brazil's second-tier team. Serbia, Switzerland,
Cameroon, I think Cameroon could actually go through if
the other two draw.
Switzerland and Serbia draw. Cameroon would go through on goal difference, but they would have to win against Brazil to go through.
Okay,
They have to win,
but-
and Serbia versus Switzerland to be a draw.
If I look at the past performances so far of Serbia and Switzerland, I think Serbia's got the edge over Switzerland, and I think Mitrovic is gonna have a lot to say about whether, because I don't think he wants to go out now of this World Cup. So I do think I want Serbia to go through, just because I think they've got the squad depth. I think they've got the tenacity to actually do some damage in this competition. But this World Cup, like I said at the beginning, has been the World Cup it's been the gift of giving, and it hasn't given the nicest of gifts to some of these teams. But yes, I want Serbia to go through. So I'm hoping for a Serbia win. But if Switzerland wins, it's no biggie. As long as Brazil goes through, I'm happy.
Andreas?
Brazil versus Denmark for the final. I pitch it. Oh wait, sorry.
Brazil versus India for the final. What about that?
Oh my God.
In cricket, maybe that's the best chance.
They didn't even make it in the cricket. England absolutely hammered them.
True. Not even
This
there
is a
they
football
can
podcast chat,
make it. Not even
guys.
there they can
Damn
make
it.
We're
Yeah,
going
come
off
on,
topic.
No,
Andreas, your thoughts on the game?
I have Brazil winning, but I think Cameroon will do their absolute best, and I think they will do a good job. But Brazil is winning, and Serbia and Switzerland, it can go both ways for sure. But I have the edge to Serbia. But yeah, it can easily go both ways. And I think no matter who wins that match is the one that moves on along with Brazil. So yeah.
Fair enough. We'll move on to the round of last 16 games, which start tomorrow afternoon. And the first game up is Netherlands versus America. This should be an easy win for the Dutch, but the Dutch have not done anything easy this tournament. I think that their hopes will rely a lot on Cody Gakpo. He's been their star. And
Frankie de Jong.
Yeah, Frankie de Jong as well. Andreas?
Netherlands is winning, I think. I think USA don't really quite have the squad to beat Netherlands. But Netherlands does not look the best either, so anything can happen. But I think Netherlands is winning this one, and then they are losing in the quarterfinal, no matter who they are facing. Yeah.
I love how he says that just so of the fly of the handle. They're losing in the quarterfinals.
Because Netherlands has looked so bad so far, so I don't see them having any chance going to the semifinals. But USA has
Fair
not
enough.
either. So it no matter who wins is probably losing in the quarterfinal, to be honest.
They'll have to face Argentina in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, we already know it's Argentina. There's no argument about that.
Fair enough. Warren, quick
Yes,
thoughts?
I think Netherlands is winning by just a smidgen of edges. Because, like I said at the top of the podcast, USA hasn't really conceded a lot. They've scored at least one goal in all the matches. So I think they're not going to be as walkover as people think they're going to be. It's going to be sad for me if they do go out, but I do think Netherlands has the edge, just squad-wise, to beat them.
Fair enough. Abu, keep it short.
May the best one win, because I really want Argentina to lose. But in my opinion, USA should lose, because if the Americans win, they're going to start calling it soccer. That's all.
True.
Fair enough. The second quarterfinal takes place tomorrow night, and that is Argentina versus Australia. This should be a clear, comfortable win for Argentina. They're in a bit of a roll now. Australia have got a minus goal difference, so you wouldn't expect a whole lot from them. But where can Australia hurt Argentina, Abu?
I mean, Australia can really sit back, hit them on the counter, and may hope that Argentina are going to mess up. That works a lot with all these small teams these days. And I mean, Australia defeated Denmark. I think the team that was going to win the World Cup for Andreas.
Oh my God!
That's Argentina.
But I think I really hope that Australia win. I really can't have Argentina win anything. So my hopes are with Australia, but I think Argentina are going to win this one sadly.
Warren?
Unless something super crazy happens tomorrow night, Argentina is winning it. But like I said, don't underestimate. But I want Argentina to go through.
Fair enough. Andreas?
Yeah, I think I already said it on this podcast that Australia beat us because we are a terrible team right now. And that is the story. It is the story. We are not playing good right now. Why are you guys laughing? I already said that. Listen, guys. You need to open your ears.
Because you already had Denmark winning the World Cup. So now
Oh,
for
I
you
had
to say the
Argentina
complete
winning.
Oh
opposite.
my god.
No, I had Argentina.
I
winning.
told you.
Yeah,
I told you
Tuesday.
Denmark are a great team. They have a
We had
great
Denmark
squad
in the
depth, but it's
finals
difficult,
lose
I
to
think.
Argentina.
Yeah, I had Denmark versus Argentina in the finals. Yeah, that's true. And
But
they
it wasn't
really
gonna happen,
disappointed.
no, though. I don't think it would have had happened because I think the players are fatigued, they're aged. Even though the squad depth is good, Denmark are still lacking that edge that they had. So I think.
But we're talking about Argentina
But-
versus
but
Australia.
True, but the
You
story
missed
is
the Denmark discussion, Abu.
the
Sorry,
story.
Let's focus on the thing, guys. We still have.
The story is that when we look at the matches we will have, we could have won them. We could have won against Mexico if that's what I predicted will happen. They also would not have happened either way. We could have beat England. They were pretty lucky when they beat us last time. We have beaten France before, so it was possible. But the fact is, we have not played good enough this World Cup, and there's no argument about that. And Australia deserved to move on because we were not good enough. They were, but Australia, I don't think Australia has played good at all, and therefore I'm really confident Argentina is winning this one.
Fair enough. We'll move to the big game on Sunday afternoon, which is France-Poland. You would expect a France win here, but don't underestimate Poland would be what I would say. France have shown so far that they are a decent team, that they have a lot of quality in there, but their depth, I think, is the problem. And if Poland hold France long enough, it could get interesting. Andreas?
If this had been any other team than Poland, I would have said that France could maybe have lost because I'm not confident in France, especially not defensively. But Poland is even worse, so I can't go with Poland for this. I'm going with France, but I'm not impressed by Poland at all, and I'm not impressed by France either. But yeah, France is winning simply because Poland is even worse.
Fair enough. Warren?
France is winning. Hands down.
Fair enough. Abu?
Benzema's not playing, so France are going to find it difficult. But I think France are going to win this. Poland have no chance. They've been very awful in front of the goal.
And they don't have Mbappe. Okay, moving on.
Benzema's also missing.
And then we have England-Senegal on Sunday evening. This should be a cracker. Senegal will be hoping they have Mane back. And I guess there's a lot of question marks for Gareth Southgate after midweek, how he lines up his side. I think the big question will be at right back. Does Kyle Walker come in for Kieran Trippier? And then up front, you have the debate either side of Harry Kane, who should start. I would probably say Phil Foden and Marcus Rashford, given the way they performed during the week. But whether Gareth Southgate will stick to his guns and keep Sterling and Saka, and whether he'll bring Mason Mount back, I think there's a lot of debate over the team.
Sterling.
I think Gareth Southgate tends to stick to what he knows, which is annoying. He doesn't like to experiment. He doesn't like to attack very much. That's a big problem. He doesn't like I found the thing is he doesn't like exciting players, the likes of Phil Foden and Rashford. He has his vision, he has his players, and that's it. He will go with them, even if they're not the best players at the moment, even if they're not performing as well. England should see this out, but you never know. Andreas, you want to give quick thoughts?
Yeah, okay, really quickly. England is winning, but I think Mane is going to make it difficult for them.
Do we know if he's definitely back?
Yeah, if he is back, of course. But yeah, I think England is winning. But I think I already said that I feel like England has not been the best against a little bit bigger teams like USA. And I think that's what we're going to see here. That maybe Senegal has a chance, but I'm still going with England. I think they're still too strong to not lose this.
Yeah. It seems like Mane is missing this weekend. He's not playing. Just to
Okay.
say. He's ruled out for the rest of the tournament. It was Warren that suggested something that he might be back, but no, he's out for the tournament. Warren, what's this game?
Yeah, and there's something. I think England is winning, but Senegal has the potential to cause an upset. But I think England is winning.
Fair enough. Abu?
I think right back, Kieran Trippier has to start, no matter what. He's the guy with more experience and better form this season. I think up top, when it comes to the striker, I prefer Harry. I think Harry Shotwell is going to do an amazing job up front. And I think Harry should start up top. But in all honesty, though, I think I might have Senegal winning this one. It's just my gut. I'm not saying this out of like trolling, or I'm not trying to troll you because you're English, but I just genuinely think that Senegal probably have this one in the bag. World Cup is all about upsets. I think I could see it happening.
We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen over the last couple of days. So anything can happen.
Anything can happen. The interesting game on Monday afternoon, Japan-Croatia. This could go either way. I think this will be very open-ended. I could not call this one. Abu, thoughts?
So Japan is here. Croatia is here. But Croatia has been playing bad, so they're here. Japan have been playing good, so they're here. So it's sort of like a good contest. I think it's going to be a great contest to watch. But I think Japan are going to beat Croatia over here.
I think Japan is winning this one. Just after that, to win against Spain, I think the confidence is there. Croatia hasn't been really confident in the way they're playing, even with Modric and all those other players there. I don't think they've been firing at all cylinders. And unless they sharpen their tools and their knives and their edges and everything and bring it, Japan, even if Croatia dominates, Japan has the arsenal to cause an upset, and we've seen them doing it in Spain. They did it against Germany. They are beating big teams, so Japan might be the team to watch.
Yeah, they would be setting up a quarterfinal likely against Brazil if they did win.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting. And then we'll skip the game against South Korea, who they're playing because we don't know yet. It's likely going to be Brazil, but we don't know for definite, so there's no point talking about it. So we will move on to Morocco versus Spain, which should be an interesting clash. Don't write Morocco off is what I will say, given the way this tournament has gone. Spain will probably be favourites, but I wouldn't write Morocco off. I could see Morocco causing problems. Warren?
I love Spain. I always go World Cup, Portugal, Spain. They're my go-to teams. But I've said it from the start. I've said it from the start of this podcast of the World Cup. Don't underestimate Morocco.
You're right.
But this one is a tough one to call.
I'm sorry, not funny. My bad.
Oh, this is hard. I'm going to go bold and say Morocco. Morocco's going to beat Spain. I'm going to go bold and say that.
Fair enough. Abu? Thoughts?
Had it not been for Dani Carvajal and Asensio, I would have loved for Spain to lose. But it's because of these two players, I think Spain should get a win. maybe they could get annihilated by Portugal later on. That's a discussion for another time. But I would genuinely love for Spain to move forward. But everybody loves a good underdog story, and Morocco could be that underdog. So I'm open to either way. It's a win-win for me.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, yes, it is.
And then we have the final game, which is Portugal against TBD. We still don't know who's going to qualify. It'll probably be the winner of Switzerland and Serbia. So we will move on to our predictions game.
Oh my God.
We'll go through last week's predictions and then reveal the final tally just for the viewers watching, since we know what the story is. So last week's predictions saw last week's predictions saw Abu say Japan to beat Costa Rica. Japan to beat Costa Rica, nothing there. France to defeat Denmark with a goal difference of +2. That didn't happen. I said England to beat Wales and Spain to beat Germany. I got 1 point for England versus Wales. Andreas said Saudi Arabia to beat Poland and Denmark
to beat
France. Neither side. Nothing there.
Denmark to beat France.
Yeah. And then Richard said Denmark to beat France and Brazil to beat Switzerland. He got a point.
Wait, Harry, isn't that the previous week's one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's from.
Sorry, my bad. Richard said Argentina and France to win. Argentina won, France didn't. Warren said Saudi Arabia to beat Mexico. Didn't happen. Uruguay to beat Ghana.
It did happen.
It did happen, so he got 3 points for that. Andreas said Denmark to win by at least 2. He didn't get anything there, and Belgium to beat Croatia. I said Australia to get a 0-0 draw with Denmark. Didn't happen. And Morocco to beat Canada to 1, which happened. Abu said USA to beat Iran, which happened, and Croatia to beat Belgium, which did not happen. So that leaves the leaderboard as me on top with 6, Warren second on 4, Andreas and Richard on 3, and Abu on 1, which means I have to
God.
Abu's punishment. And I'm going to make you do a video, Abu, saying 5 nice things about me, 5 nice things about Warren, 5 nice things about Richard, and 5 nice things about Andreas.
I hate this life. Fair enough, I'll do that.
The predictions for next week are coming across the bottom of your screen.
Oh my God.
Warren, if you want to give your 2 predictions for the knockout round until Tuesday for the round of last 16.
Portugal, or we're not doing that game, right?
No, because we don't know who they're playing yet.
I mean, if you want to go ahead with it, we could just give you points for it based on whatever the team is after. But if you want to bet on Portugal, I say go ahead and do it because that's your favorite team. But then based on what the team is, we will discuss the points later. If you're okay with that.
That's right. They said we can't do that. So
yeah, Andreas we talked about it before.
Shut. Sorry. This one is hard. This is the hardest one. I'm gonna say Netherlands to beat USA.
Okay, just give
so
me
that's probably gonna be 1 point.
Give me a second. I'm just trying to get rid of all the. Yeah. Give me a second. So, what did we say? Netherlands. Warren.
I'm gonna say Netherlands to beat USA.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna do Morocco to beat Spain.
Morocco to beat Spain. Okay.
Nothing about goal differences. I'm not saying anything about.
I think that's 1 point for Netherlands, 3 for Morocco, or 1 for Morocco.
I'm on the same. No, I think 3 is better for Morocco. It's a better game.
Yeah,
Because Morocco, that's a difficult prediction.
and Spain obviously are a bigger side.
The better team, yeah.
Yeah.
3 points, for them, I guess.
Abu, your thoughts?
Japan to beat Croatia, and I'm just waiting for the fixtures to show up. Wait. Argentina and Australia, France and Poland. France to beat Poland. Let's go with that.
Poland, okay.
I'm gonna say 1 for France and 3 for the other one for Japan versus
okay,
Croatia.
Japan.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say England to beat Senegal, obviously. And I'm going to say Marcus Rashford to score.
So you're putting that
So
contingency on it.
Huh?
Are you putting that contingency on there?
Exactly,
What
yeah.
do you mean?
You're saying
So
that England will
England
win,
will win
and
and Marcus Rashford will score. That's 2 different predictions.
but in the same game.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
cool.
So I get 1 point each is, I think. If they were the same prediction, if there was that contingency, then we could go for 3 points, and you can make another prediction. But if you're going 1-1 separately, then I think 1 point for each makes sense.
I
Okay,
agree.
I'll go with them both then. I'll go with England to beat Senegal and Rashford to score.
As one prediction.
Yeah, and then I will go with Argentina to beat Australia.
Okay, so it's 3 for the England plus Marcus, and then 1 for the Argentina.
Yeah,
Okay, with me.
we're on the same page, Warren.
And then
That's what you really want to do.
So that
Yeah,
means
that's-
even if England wins and Marcus doesn't score, you don't get the
Then
3
he
points.
doesn't get the
I just
3
want to make clear.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, we're on the same page there.
Thing is, everyone's going 1 bold, 1 not bold. So.
I mean, why not? It's fun.
Yeah, and then Richard went with Poland to beat France. I think that would be 3 points.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And then he also said, let me find them.
Argentina beats Australia with at least 3 goals. I think that could be a 3-pointer.
I'm
What do you
trying
guys
to find them.
You said that?
Find them. Okay, he said France and Holland to win. He deleted them. So France to win. So that would be 1 point, seeing as Abu got 1 point, and the Netherlands to win
That
That's
should
1
be
point.
1.2.
1 point as well.
Because
Yeah.
it's 1 point. Because I also said that, and I got 1 point for it. So
Yeah. And then Andreas has sent his in. He said Argentina beats Australia with at least 3 goals difference.
I think that's a 3-pointer, no, boys?
Yeah, I think so too.
yeah,
Warren?
yeah.
And Kane scores against Senegal. I
Kane's
say
goals against Senegal. Considering Kane hasn't scored yet, I think that would be 3 points as well.
Oh, wow, look at that. Brunei, Kiskis, Netherlands, Australia, France, England, Spain, Japan, Portugal, Brazil, if they are. Wow. I don't know what that means, but wow.
I think that's
She's
her
watching the podcast. That's so great. Thank you, Bree.
Amazing. Yeah, I know.
So yeah, we're saying Kane to score 3 points.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I don't know.
No,
about that
no.
one.
I'm going to put a 1-pointer on that.
No.
'Cause, Kane is definitely going to play. And if they get a penalty, Kane's scoring. So I
Okay,
think
so
that's a
say
1.
1 then. Okay.
Yeah, 1 point for Kyle and 3 for the other one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That is that then. We will be back on Tuesday with the results of the last 16. Hopefully, we will have a lot more drama over the next couple of days. Thank you all for watching. We will see you on Tuesday. Have a good weekend, everybody.